Sunday night football. And Monday, this is the Premier League show, the second of the weekend, and we've got 6 matches to try and get through as quickly as possible so you don't nod off. Let's get started. Sheffield United at home to Leeds. This is a Yorkshire derby. We haven't had too many of them in quite a number of years, and there's a lot of history between these two. Leeds notorious in buying players from Bramall Lane, sometimes via the back door. Anyway, there was no Rodrigo for Leeds, he's their big signing. Norwood on the bench for the Blades. And brief highlights: the Messany and Ramsdale, the two keepers, handled everything that was thrown at them in the first half. A great save from Lundstrom by the Leeds keeper on 29, and Bamford's header from Harrison's cross also dealt with comfortably. Goalless at the break, then into the second half. Both sides going for the win, competitive for sure, neat approach work, but final third, telling pass missing until 89 minutes. When a breathtaking header from the Bamford following a Harrison cross, he headed it back across the keeper, found the corner, and that was the opening goal and the only goal. And so Leeds held on for a precious 1-0 win. That puts Sheffield United at the bottom now, 3 defeats in a row. Wilder was pretty realistic about it, pragmatic, didn't moan too much. Bielsa, well, he's not one for superlatives. He focuses on hard work, and even with the translator, you get a gist of his work ethic. So final score then at Bramall Lane, Sheffield United 0, Leeds United 1. Second game then on Sunday was at the New White Hart Lane. Spurs, buoyant after that tremendous performance last week against Southampton, were at home to Newcastle, who had stumbled after an early promise of week 1. For Spurs, still no Dele Alli, not even on the bench. He did play in midweek in a Europa League match, but the writing's on the wall by the look of things. Ndoli, Lamela and Alderweireld were on the bench for Spurs. For Newcastle, Joe Linton and Almiron recalled Carroll back on the bench. Well, the first half was a complete domination by Spurs. They only got a single goal. It was a beautiful goal, it has to be said. Son involved, and Kane, who managed to get down the left, got to the byline, fed a beautiful cross, tantalising across the 6-yard box. A bit of hesitancy from Newcastle, and Mora nipped in ahead of the defender and poked it across the line for 1-0. After that, it was a bombardment really, but some great saves from Darlow. He denied Kane, he denied Son, he denied Mora, and it was really surprising that Spurs weren't more in front at the break. As so often happens though in the second half, Spurs took their foot off the pedal. Newcastle steadied, although they never looked like getting a goal. But then on 83 minutes, a rare foray upfield by the Magpies led to a header, a cross goal, and it caught the backhand of Dyer, and completely accidental, of course, but VAR got its mitts on it, and they advised the referee to give a penalty. Ridiculous decision. But Callum Wilson didn't mind. He stepped up and he slotted the ball home, and it finished 1-1. Mourinho marched off the pitch before the final whistle in disgust, and he didn't comment in the match interview about it. He tried to concentrate on the good performance, but he was absolutely seething underneath, and I'm not surprised. So final score at White Hart Lane, it was Spurs 1, Newcastle 1. So let's get going now at the London Stadium. West Ham at home to Wolves. West Ham have looked far better than the 2 defeats so far this season, particularly against Arsenal. They were impressive. Wolves, a bit of a mixed bag, but they have lost Jota to Liverpool and Doherty to Spurs. So I guess they're trying to readjust to that. 16 minutes. Hammers got a free kick and just inside Wolves' half, and they took it very, very quickly before the Wolves' defence got in position. And Bowen raced forward to the box, and his shot went in on the left side, wide of Fabricio, with Will's defenders complaining bitterly about the ball having not been stationary. The referee did nothing. He awarded a goal, and Hammers were 1 up. After that, few chances for either side before the break, but deserved lead for West Ham. Wolves very disappointing. 56 minutes, West Ham doubled their lead. Furnell's a shot outside the area, hit the post, and Bowen was following up, and he got his second. Antonio also involved in the assist here. 66 minutes, it got worse for Wolves. A header from Souček from a corner by Cresswell, and that was 3-0. And the icing on the cake, 92 minutes, Haller, who'd come on as a substitute, he also headed home for a corner, and that was 4-0 to Wolves. It was a bit of a rout, really. Great news for Moyes in quarantine. Final score, West Ham 4, Wolves 0. So the last of the 4 fixtures on Sunday, and it was a juicy clash between Manchester City at home to Leicester. Both sides undefeated. Man City have only played once, however. And team news, Foxes, no Ndidi. He was injured. Maddison still being nursed back. He's back on the bench. Man City, they've got a few problems. No Jesus, no Aguero, both still injured. Sterling was up front for the Blues, the light blues, that is. And from the get-go, City on fire. And 3 minutes, a fantastic shot by Mahrez after a corner had been cleared half-heartedly. It hit the top corner and Schmeichel never moved. So 1-0 to City. After that, Leicester sat back. They seemed to get their defence in order, and they soaked up the constant pressure from Man City. However, very few chances, it has to be said. And then on 37 minutes, the first opportunity for Leicester, and Barnes on a breakaway, he managed to feed Vardy, and Vardy into the box with his defender Walker next to him. A clumsy collision from Walker, down went Vardy. The referee pointed to the spot. VAR confirmed it. Vardy stepped up, and it was 1-1. And that was the score at the break. Certainly City had the better of things, but they hadn't taken their chances. We got into the second half then, and things started to fall apart for Guardiola's men. Vardy again, a foot quicker than the defender at the near post. He flicks on a cross from the right from the impressive Castagna, and it whistled past Edison from a couple of yards, and the Foxes were in front. Things got worse on 56. Vardy again on the prowl. This time Garcia clumsy. Vardy down again. Second penalty. Second result. Vardy as cool as a cucumber. 3-1 to Leicester. They brought on Maddison after that, and he had an instant impact. Coming in from the left, he whipped a shot with a lot of curl on it from outside the box. It was too clever for Edison, went over his head in the top corner, and so amazingly Man City were trailing by 4-1. 83 minutes, Ake got his debut goal from a corner heading in to put some respectability on the scoreline. But then 86 minutes, you got it. Another dreadful piece of defending, this time by Mendy, who brought down Maddison. He was in the penalty box, of course. So the referee awarded a third penalty for the Foxes. Vardy was sitting in the stands, and he looked a trifle miffed, really. But Tielemans stepped up and slotted it home. And so we got to the final whistle. Final score. Man City 2, Leicester 5. So to Monday night's fixtures. There were two of them. The first one was at Craven Cottage. Fulham, without a win so far. We've heard that before, haven't we? At home to Aston Villa. Now, Villa had made an impressive start after just avoiding the drop at the end of last season. But on paper, this looked like it could be a close one. But Villa were on the front foot right from the off. 3 minutes, Grealish latching on to a through ball from McGuinn. It was an exquisite pass. And Grealish, who really does think of class, he manages to steer it in the corner wide of the keeper, and Villa were 1 up. A couple of headers from from Mitrovic, dealt with easily by Martinez, the Villa goalkeeper. 14 minutes, Villa doubled their lead. Hanrahan was on hand to slot home. A great work by Grealish again. He got to the byline. He fed the ball across the 6-yard box. McGinn got a slight touch, put it onto Hanrahan, and he just steered it in the corner. And that was Villa ahead by 2-0. 26 minutes, inches wide by Watkins. He looked very impressive on the left flank for Villa. And he got his cross into Trezeguet, but the chance went begging. So 2-0 at the break, 2 minutes into the second half, and things got worse for Fulham. A free kick on the left, it was launched into the box. For some reason, the defence didn't get a touch to it, and it landed at the feet of the advancing Mings. He managed to stick out a leg, and it just connected and went wide of the keeper in the net, and that was 3-0. There was a response from Fulham this time, and Reed on 55 pulled one back. This was after a fumble by Martinez, after he was sort of slightly unsighted with a shot from distance. And Reed managed to latch onto the fumble and slotted it home 3-1. Well, that's what we thought anyway. Varane had a look at it, and they saw that Mitrovic had pulled on a defender's shirt in the build-up. So it was chalked off, and that was the end of the misery for Fulham. Aston Villa, comfortable winners by 3-0. Dean Smith's absolutely delighted with his troops. This start by Villa, 2 wins out of 2 now. Absolutely amazing. They're up to 4th. For Fulham, it's 3 defeats on the bounce. And I have to say that Scott Parker, in interview, was trying to make the best of a bad job. He was trying to suggest that the board should put their fingers in their pockets and get some cash out to buy some extra players before the transfer window closes. I'm not sure whether that's going to happen, and who would want to go to Fulham anyway. So final score at Craven's Cottage, Fulham 0, Aston Villa 3. So, last match of this round then. And this, of course, was another big clash at the top end of the Premier League. It involved Liverpool, the champions, at home to Arsenal. Now, Arsenal had already got one over on Liverpool earlier in the season. That was that Community Shield fixture. But different things happened at Anfield. And we got off, Fabinho was back in midfield as they had Gomez in at the back. And he had come back from an injury. Jota was on the bench, and no Henderson, he's got an injury, I believe. For Arsenal, they had Saka, Pepe and Sabelios on the bench. Still no Ozil. And they went 3 at the back, did the Gunners. And they got off to a pretty good start. After an initial raid by Liverpool, where Luis managed to clear the danger from an Arnold cross, on 14 minutes, there was a block by Leno for a Mane strike. And then 24 minutes, a bit of a howler at the back for Liverpool. Robertson miscued his clearance and it went straight to Lacazette, who was in front of him, but he couldn't be ruled offside, and he sort of hooked it into the net past Alisson. It was a clumsy looking contact, but it was good enough, and the Gunners were 1 up. Well, it only took 3 minutes for normality to be restored. This is a great goal by Mane after some perilous work by Salah, whose long run and then shot forced Leno to push the ball out to the right of the goal, and Mane was there, and it was an easy finish for him, 1-1. Then on 33 minutes, Robertson made amends for that error. A delightful cross from Arnold was deflected slightly by the Arsenal defence, but it went straight to Robertson, and he had a tapping, and that's all he needed. And so Liverpool were in front by 2-1. That was the half-time score. Into the second half, Lacazette had a great chance to equalise on 58, but he spurned it. He was ruled offside, but that was after the move was complete. On 61, Van Dijk was involved, and his effort was parried away by Leno. And 62 minutes, Lacazette again having a really gilt-edged chance, 1-on-1 with Alisson, but the Brazilian keeper blocked it away. Jota had come on as a substitute for the Reds, and he got his debut goal on 87 minutes. It followed a corner, poor clearance by Luis, and Jota was on the edge, collected it, a neat piece of control, and then hit it in the corner, and that was the sealer. Liverpool in front by 3-1, and that's the way it finished. Anfield seeing yet another win. Liverpool comfortable victors by 3-1. So let's have a summary then of week 3. Now it's all done and dusted. Those 6 matches rattled off for this video. The situation at the top of the league then, and it's Merseyside glowing. We've got Liverpool and Everton at the top with maximum points. Villa are up there as well, and the Foxes, of course, they're 3 wins out of 3. So we've got 3 teams on 9, Villa on 6, and we've got Arsenal on 6 as well, and Palace on 6. It's been an intriguing set of fixtures. The demolition of Manchester City by Leicester really throws up a lot of question marks about whether this Manchester City side can bounce back. I doubt it. They look a shadow of their former selves. But the Liverpool machine looks well oiled, and now they've got this addition of Jota. It's going to be a very, very difficult side to stop. So that's the lot. There's a lot of football this week as well. We've got EFL Cup matches before next week's Premier League. Enjoy yourself. See you next week.